Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for update 90 of hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, we finally have this alpha sequence done. I am so excited. So let's jump right in to the toys and features that are rounding out the finale of this alpha sequence. Let's go ahead and reset our target first. So let's start with the shotguns. I showed you a bunch of them last week to go with the ones that I showed you. Let's see. Let's start with the I believe this is called Bird's Head Grip shotguns. We've got one that is automatic and one that is pump. This is the VT13 Shorty, and this is the T14 Custom. So let me grab myself a shell. Along with these shotguns, I finally went back. I know some of you were like, oh, rip wibbly carriers, but the carriers now on these shotguns now behave correctly. So as I bring around in towards them, you will see them push in like so. So let's load that. Oh, boop, boop. And when we rack them, when the handle, it's harder to see with this one because the grip covers it up, but you actually see that the carrier properly rotates up to support the shell. Wonderful. You'll also notice that even compared to last week, there's actually a few new shotgun shot sounds, courtesy of Joe. Oh, what was going on with shot 3 there? So there is now some increase. I actually went back and changed the shot sounds on a couple of the prior pump shotguns that didn't really fit them super well, now that I had a larger variety of them to choose from. Ooh. Wonderful. Oh, always do that with these. So yeah, so that is those two. Gotta make sure it's empty. And then in terms of our M2, we've got two variations. One which got a little bit of tuning with the help of the Discord, since I showed it off. We've got two versions of the M2 here. We've got a tactical one with a pistol grip and a bunch of rails slapped on the fore there. So I don't think I've actually put a foregrip on a normal looking shotgun. Feels a little strange, truth be told, but might be some folks' jam. Rack that sucker there. Yeah, there we go. It's got a really wonderful built-in sight as well as a top rail. Wonderful. Love that sound. Remember, when you're reloading this is 7+1, so we put the 7 in. We can pop the 1 right there up in the chamber. Tap that right there. Those fast reloads. Wonderful. And we've got a one that I bet ended up naming the M23 gun. A bunch of us on the Discord were looking up exactly how long the tube for these can get, as well as the barrel. I think this is a 28-inch barrel. It might be longer. Just preposterous. Either way, this is a 10+1. So this is now officially the highest capacity tube-fed shotgun in the game. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. A little bulky, a little likely to, hit that long barrel against things. But there we go. I showed you folks nothing really particularly new with the KSG. Let's cycle a few rounds through it anyway, just because it's fun. Gorgeous looking piece, behaving well, and I managed to fix the collision issues involving the 612's cylinders. So wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And then the last toy I have got for you folks this week is a little bit of a crossover with what is probably my favorite. No, it's definitely my favorite arcade VR game to play. It's called Compound VR. It's got a sort of Contra-ish aesthetic to it, sort of like Wolfenstein meets an old NES game in terms of vibe. I just play an absolute ton of it, and I love the firearms in it. And so I talked with the creator of the game and ended up doing a high-fidelity rendition of the blaster pistol from the game. So you can find this in the item spawner under machine pistols. So this is the Compound pistol, and this has a 10-shot recharging cell. You don't want to let it overheat, though, or it'll take a moment to cool down. There we go. And though it's a little hard to see, let's pop that out there. I matched the travel time on the projectiles to the way they work in that game, so it's a little slow to target. But still quite effective when it gets there. So, for those of you who are always like, I want more fictional and goofy sci-fi weapons to play with, here you go. It's as though a game jumped right out of a video game into the real world from Compound. Seriously, if you haven't played the game, you totally should. I absolutely love it. Cool, let's jump on over quickly to the sniper range, as there is another change related. Basically, this paper target got migrated over to it, and it's got another special feature. So, we are over in the sniper range, and as you can see, our paper target system has come with us, and with it, a couple other features that are going to be relevant to you. The first, which I forgot to show off in the other scene, but is more relevant here, is that we can now raise and lower the paper target. So I can use this to adjust this in fairly coarse increments here. It's a little more fine in its movement in the indoor range, so I can actually send this all the way down to the lower segment, like so. And if we take a jog down there, you'll notice that our panel automatically comes with us. And what's cool is it doesn't just come with us between the two stories. Here, let me grab myself let's grab ourselves a rifle here to play with. Where are you? Yeah, SV98. So we got a nice integrated bipod. Pop a scope on there. Let's send this out a whole bunch, like say, yeah, 200. Whee! There it goes. I had to turn up the travel speed, although I assume you folks didn't want to wait like 30 minutes for it to get back and forth. And before we start shooting it, I do want to mention that I've got a category system in here. It only has 2 categories at the moment. I don't have the other targets in and ready yet. But we can now see these are bullseyes. These are IPSC, so we can select one. I'm going to do the splatter target, and then we can set and reset. It tells us what our scoring on the target is there in the details, and our sheet view now correctly shows the target we have. So in addition to this showing up above or below based upon what level you're on, if we actually decide to do some prone shooting, you can see the panel comes down right with us automatically based on our head height. So let's pop that there. Let's take some prone shots. Let's see, let's find it. There we go. You know, this is actually a little too low. Remember, if you're doing any bipod shooting, you can always just pull out the options panel and lock it and use that for your height offset. There we go, that's better. Look at how stable those new bipods are. Ooh, not bad. Oh, you know what we should be doing? We should be slide bolting. I keep forgetting that I put that in. A little too high. Close enough. Speaking of slide bolting, I know a bunch of you complained about that it was only available for bipoding after I added it. So I put it back in here for bolt action firing hand cycling mode. There's a display error. This should be quick bolting and slide bolting. I will fix it before the update, but if you set it to the second option, which will be slide bolting, it will allow you to do this freestanding. You don't have to be bipoded for it to function. So I hope that is useful for you folks. Not my day. Anywho, let's jump out of VR and talk about any remaining issues and bugs that were fixed in this final update 90 push. Yo! So I hope you're excited about all of that. The other stuff that came in this update is, I didn't show it off, I forgot to, but there is a variant of the G11 now in the item spawner called the TAC mod that has that permanently affixed optic removed, has a top rail instead, and some fore rails. So for those of you who've been looking to kit out a G11 and vault it, that's in there now. As I mentioned, I changed a number of existing firing sounds on the Express 870, the other 870s, and the MB500s that are in the game. So I think they fit better now. Bugs that have been fixed. I think I fixed the USAS 12 cycling issues. This has been one of those bugs I haven't really been able to reproduce reliably, but I think it should work now. I made it so an AUG A1 no longer spawns with an optic and take and hold, doesn't need to. I fixed a bunch of things involving, there were certain categories of attachments that could have other attachments on them that you could grab and detach while other things that were attached to them, which completely breaks that system because of the way that it's hierarchical. So that should all be prevented now. I fixed some issues where guns that needed to use the trigger on the foregrip would engage bracing when you would say go to fire them or use them. So for those types of foregrips, bracing is now disabled, so that allows you to actually use that for. It's not like you need to brace in RPG-7. Fixed an assortment of physics behavior stuff with paper target. The bipoded MG42 no longer recoils off a surface instantaneously. Remember, when you are using a bipoded weapon, if you have your hand that's not doing anything, your sort of forward hand, and you just keep it in proximity to your firing hand, you will help dampen the recoil even with a bipoded weapon. So there is a difference between firing like this and just firing a bipoded weapon like this that is more noticeable with the machine guns. So yeah, this has been a long alpha cycle. Longer than I anticipated, but that's what happens when you try to tackle several different feature sets at once while improving a bunch of existing stuff. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. Obviously, the paper target system still needs more content. We've got a bunch of other targets still in production, both some ones that I put in the sort of game category. Actually, a couple of them that we're working on are designed for 2 people to play, in that one side's hit zones make the score go up, and one side's hit zones make the score go down. So it's the sort of thing where you can totally cycle a mag, pass the HMD off to your friend, they can cycle a mag into it, and you can sort of fight for, final score after 15 shots, 30 shots, what have you, whether it's positive, negative, or a tie. So there's going to be several of those. There's going to be a bunch of SOSIG silhouette ones that we are currently working on that are not quite ready. I actually need to change, because those are like 2x1 format. They're narrow. We have to make sure that the paper target system actually supports that aspect ratio change. But yeah, other than that, I'm really happy with how that system has turned out. And in terms of what things are to come, well, the next thing is we're actually going to do back-to-back updates again, because the 4th of July is next week, and I've got some great stuff for you folks for that. And then we're going to like rest for a little bit. And then the next big content push and system push is going to be about sandbox play. And I've got some really exciting things to share with you folks on that topic once we get that going later in July. I think you're all going to be super, super pleased about it. But that's going to be our next big focus. This has been in development, sort of carefully staging bits of code, bits of design, and bits of content for a while, but I promise you it will be worth the wait. So, anywho, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. If you run into any bugs with the update, which I'm sure you will, as always, make sure to pop on over to our Steam Community Forums bug report section and post a bug there, and we'll see what we can do about it. So, hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Peace.